And your day, Guru Maharaj?
Yeah, I was very tired today, but it's okay. Now I feel better.
This is a sad day for you.
No, you know, for me, because I didn't have so much Vapu association with Srila Prabhupada, so I was more trained with Vani. So for the Vani adjusted devotees, it was more easy than for those who had very close association with him.
Yes.
Because all my life I was trained in Vani. I only saw Prabhupada 2 times and short. So yeah.
He is very nice here, isn't he?
What do you say?
That Srila Prabhupada is so nice here at Bhakti Granda's home.
Ah, yes, yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So nice. He's with us every morning.
So you see,
Chanja.
he's still with us.
Yes.
In Murti form, in our memories, in our heart, in his instructions, in his books.
Yes.
In the different devotees. Actually, we are nowadays much more Prabhupada conscious than when Prabhupada was here. Because nowadays we know much more about Srila Prabhupada than in the 70s.
Yes.
Because in the 70s we had so many. We were all young devotees. We had everyone had his mind somewhere, and
yes.
And we didn't understood much. When I heard about Srila Prabhupada in the beginning, when I joined, I didn't even know why they always say Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know him, you know. Then they explained me, oh, he's our guru, you know, he's the Acharya. He's the one who wrote these books and founded this ISKCON. And then they showed me the picture. Although I saw a picture, I didn't remember, don't know that actually, but that was his name. And then they also spoke about Guru from Prabhupada. That Prabhupada also has a guru, and then I thought, oh, I never heard that a guru has a guru. Because I read many Mayavadi literatures, and in these books, and you never heard that somebody had a guru. They all were self-enlightened avatars. Is a guru, and then that means yeah, that's something authentic, you know, not just some esoteric hocus pocus. So something serious, because it is handed down from Guru Parampara.
Yes.
So therefore I say at that time, the only thing what we knew, we knew that Srila Prabhupada was, how you say, starting this movement, and that he wrote some books, like Bhagavad Gita and some Bhagavatam and Ishopanishad and like that. But about his life, we didn't know anything. And I joined, and even later on, because his biography only came out after his disappearance. The first biography was Srila Prabhupada's, how's it called, Prabhupada Lila. and they came out in 6 volumes.
Yes, yes.
6.
Lilamrita.
And one volume after another, and always took some time, you know. So, and then even you could not understand English so good in that time. I was actually learning English only by reading Prabhupada's books, especially Chaitanya Charitamrita, and listening lectures, English lectures, you know. So in this way, I gradually learned some English and understood some English. And then, but we didn't know much about Prabhupada. We only knew that he liked that we distribute his books. And at that time, in the beginning, there was only book distribution. That was family business, as I mentioned this morning. So everyone who joined, who was in the temple, they knew we will distribute books. Some they maybe stay behind and worship deities and cook and like that. Little or small temple team, but most of the devotees, there was only one engagement besides the temple worship was book distribution. And although we almost didn't read any books in that time, we were very much inspired still, because we saw so many other devotees that were inspired, and so it was infective. It was really like a virus, but a positive one. How we distribute the books, and how the devotees were inspired other devotees, convinced them and inspired them, and they took them out. And so naturally everyone had a desire to distribute the books, although we didn't know much about it. Later on, Srila Prabhupada, he wrote a letter, and he told, it's not nice that in Germany the book distributors only distribute the books, but they don't read my books. One moment. They don't read my books, they only distribute them, so that's not very good philosophy. Because those who distribute the books, they should also read. You have to be convinced and know about this philosophy and be convinced about the philosophy, and then you can distribute very successfully. So it was amazing how still so many books went out, and the devotees, they were so much absorbed in Srila Prabhupada's mission, in Prabhupada's service. Because Prabhupada, I remember when we were in Germany, we were always chanting 16 rounds before Srila Prabhupada picture. That time there was no Murti. We had the picture of Srila Prabhupada. And then we were chanting very intensively, in a praying mood. Pray to Srila Prabhupada, please empower us, please let me distribute your books and make me instrumental in your mission. And everyone was so fired up, and it was the most intensive time from the mission activities. But personally about Srila Prabhupada, we didn't know almost nothing. Almost didn't know nothing. We only were impressed by all the devotees who captured this virus and this fire of missionary activities. And then only later on, when Srila Prabhupada's books became translated, Harikesh Maharaj, you remember this time, he was so very much fired up with his mission to the Prabhupada's books translated in German, in so many languages. And every year he brought Srila Prabhupada books, personally to Vrindavan, 76 and 77. And he personally brought the first copies to offer them to Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan. And Prabhupada was always very happy when he heard, when he saw 7 new books, or so many different books in German language, in Yugoslavian, Serbo-Croat, Ishopanishad came out. So Harikesh Maharaj offered that to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, he was so happy when he saw issue, Serbo-Croatian issue. And he was asking how many you printed. Then he told, I think he told 10,000, and then say, you can distribute books there. And then Harikesh said yes. And then Prabhupada immediately told, then you should print more. So printing books was Prabhupada's heart. PPT. And the book distribution was his life and soul. Printing books, distributing books. Prabhupada became so much inspired. As I mentioned this morning, he became so much inspired when although he was very sick in Vrindavan, whenever somebody sent him a Sankirtan newsletter or a report about how book distribution is going on, or sent him by mail, or somebody came personally like Harikesh Maharaj to offer him the books personally in his room, then Prabhupada always made big eyes, big smile. He felt like a young man, and he told, I feel like I conquered a whole empire. I conquer whole empire whenever I see a new book is coming out in another language. Especially in that time, Europe had started book productions and translations of German and French, and although French was not Harikesh Maharaj Bhagavan, but there was always competition between South European zone and North Europe, and with America, with LA, EBT, and with India. So there was a very heavy competition. Everyone was very ambitious to print as many books as possible and translate so many books as possible and distribute, of course. And every week the newsletter came out where the results were shown of the books distributed. And so although we had no internet at that time, there was no Facebook, there was no connection. The only thing was a telegraph. You know this telegraph? Previously you had to type, and send something, a letter, by telegraph or by telephone. Nowadays, everything goes more fast, and we have so much information and so much contacts, but we don't know more, and we don't feel more connected. At that time, everyone felt connected, although we didn't know each other, because everyone was engaged in the same service. Everyone had the same thing in the head, That was unity. Prabhupada was like a magnet, and all the big leaders, powerful leaders, GBCs and BBT trustees and Sankirtan men, they were all completely focused on Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was our leader. He's still our leader. And he knew I cannot go. I have to try to stay as long as possible here to guide all these devotees because they're so young. And they have so much energy, they want to do so much. And Prabhupada was so happy that the devotees, seeing the enthusiasm of the devotees, that they're distributing so many books and were so much eager to follow Srila Prabhupada's order to preach, as he accepted the order from his guru. And he passed it on to his disciples. So it's like one train is pushing another train wagon, and so in this way the whole train caravan is passing. And only because of Srila Prabhupada's desire and with his endeavor and his presence, this mission was very powerful to Srila Prabhupada's time. Although we didn't know much personal, we had no practically personal contact with Srila Prabhupada. We didn't know much about him. We only knew from other devotees who knew him and how we got some little information. And so anyway, Srila Prabhupada was always very happy when he felt encouraged to stay longer, despite of his bad health and weakness and old age. So he always felt obliged to stay with the devotees, and the devotees also prayed to him to stay longer and to encourage us. Prabhupada is our leader, so he's our main inspirator. So at that time he was the force. He's still the force. But now we have much more information because now we have all his books, and many of you or of us, we have read these books several times. We have some access to so many lectures now. At that time, they were only on tapes. It was not transmitted per internet, and we only had. It was not so easy to get lectures from Srila Prabhupada. Only maybe a few, or bhajans. Nowadays we have so many collections of bhajans and kirtans of Srila Prabhupada. We have so many movies from about Srila Prabhupada. We have so many books about Srila Prabhupada, biographies, memories from Prabhupada disciples. We have Prabhupada's personal letters, Prabhupada's personal correspondence with his devotees from beginning and even before he came to the West, up to 77. We can read, it's all printed and available in internet. You can read all these letters, very inspiring. Sometimes I send some of the letters, excerpts in the chats, now chats. So we have letters, we have his interviews, so many interviews, so many lectures. So nowadays we know so much about Srila Prabhupada, we don't even can read everything and follow up everything. And in this way we can always cultivate our association with him, although we don't have much physical association with him. What to speak also of you, who had no physical Vapu association with him, but still you know Prabhupada disciples, you hear from them, you're serving them, and you're getting this spirit through them, and also of course directly through Srila Prabhupada. Every devotee, not only his first disciples, have this access to Srila Prabhupada. At the Shiksha. Shiksha is direct, always. Of course, we should always also confirm which spiritual master and not jump over the process of parampara. But we have access to Srila Prabhupada and all throughout. Somebody has the microphone on. Please switch it off.
Yes. Pandunat Prabhu.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very. What do I want to say? It's very nice this Krishna consciousness movement and how to see so many devotees joining and appreciating. And even though maybe in our country here in Serbia and in Croatia and like that, not so many joining like in Russia or like in India. Still, it's we know each other. We have devotees and association, and we have connection with each other. And this is very much important to cultivate this association with devotees from Prabhupada's family. In India, when Prabhupada, he left India to go to the West because he was frustrated, because he thought that these Indians are not interested. They're not interested in this Krishna consciousness. He was very much frustrated. So therefore he thought, let me try to go to the West. After all, my Guru Maharaj told me I should preach in the West. And he was helpless, but not hopeless, but helpless. He was completely dependent on Guru and Krishna mercy. And without facility, without money, without followers, he started this movement in America, 1966. So that was only because of his great determination, of his great faith in Guru and Krishna instruction. He was Prabhupada's, he was Krishna's man, ambassador to bring Krishna consciousness to the West. Previously, before him, many Swamis from India went to the West, Vaishnavas and also Mayavadis, yogis. But they all adopted Western mentalities, more or less. They didn't could impress the people to take up this process of Krishna consciousness, of following teachings of Bhagavad Gita, to surrender to Krishna. Only by Srila Prabhupada's endeavor, only by his determination, only by his effort of explaining how important it is to serve Krishna. He expressed that the whole world is in fire. There's only one solution. This is to take shelter in Krishna consciousness, to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he personally went to the park, Thompson Square Park, with his devotees singing and dancing there. Very ecstatic film. It's available from that time, how Srila Prabhupada was playing there, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Simple tune, simple language, nothing complicated, no show, very genuine, very deep, And you see how the people, young and old, they surrounded and became attracted to the Sankirtan. That's how humbly Srila Prabhupada started, without big temple, without money, only with a little storefront, matchless gift. He called it the matchless gift. He started the mission there. And in the beginning, the devotees only thought, oh, ISKCON only will remain in New York. Brahmananda and all these Mukunda. Everyone, they thought, oh, Prabhupada and ISKCON only remain in New York. But then very soon he became invited to also go to to go to California, to San Francisco, to Los Angeles, because there the hippie movement started. Although in the beginning it seemed to be everything will be just be in New York, but then it expanded, and from there it went to Canada, from Canada to London, and from London to India, back to India, and then all over the world. Prabhupada 12 times he traveled all over the world to preach non-stop. Even at the time of death, he was preaching. Even when he was in Rishikesh, we heard this morning, Prabhupada was preaching to the yogis and to those who were attached to the yoga panta, Astanga yoga process, Rishikesh yoga asana series. So Prabhupada, he preached to them, this will not give you ultimate happiness and liberation. Only Krishna consciousness, devotional service, bhakti yoga. That's the supreme. Yoginam api sarvesham. Atgate antaratmana. Only by the bhakti yoga process that will by devotional service, by engaging our senses in the service of Krishna. Prabhupada, he was living Krishna consciousness. He was not only a speaker or a propagator. He was not a fanatic. He was very serious, very deeply founded, anchored in this process of Krishna consciousness. And that's what it's stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The Lord Chaitanya, he preached by his example, achar and prachar. Some maybe speak good, but not act very nicely, exemplary. Some act maybe exemplary, but not speak so good. Although action is better than speaking. Actually, this was spoken by Sanatana Goswami, Haridas Thakur by Sanatana Goswami to Haridas Thakur. In you we can see both. In Srila Prabhupada we could see both. His work, his example, and his devotion, his deep love to Guru and Krishna. He was not a bluffer or showman who want to sell something in the West. He told many that came to sell something in the West or to beg from the West, please give me money, please give me this, please give me technology. But I didn't come as a beggar, I came to give you something. Prabhupada came to give, not to take. This is Vaishnava. Out of his paradukha dukhi, kripa moya, he came to give, to give that what we have forgotten. So we have forgotten Krishna, and Prabhupada came to remind us. So therefore, we can never pay back what Srila Prabhupada did. But now after, how many years now? 43 years since he disappeared on this, in the evening, 7:30, Indian time. In the evening, Prabhupada left to the joining the eternal Leela of Krishna. Of course, the Acharya, like Srila Prabhupada, is Nitya Siddha. He remains with Krishna in the spiritual world and at the same time also preaches somewhere. Because Prabhupada always was wanted to preach. He wanted to spread Krishna consciousness. Despite his health, despite heaven or hell, happiness or unhappiness, good or bad, is it difficulty or easy? He was very convinced, and there's fire in this world, so we have to save whoever is possible to give them this opportunity to take shelter on Krishna's lotus feet, because Krishna's lotus feet are the boat by which we can cross the ocean of birth and death. And this boat always remains on this side. And the Acharyas, they enter that boat and cross the ocean of birth and death, the samsara, and attain the Parampadam, the Vaikuntha, the spiritual world, where there is no more danger on every step. But they leave the boat behind, and they leave the process behind, the acharyas. Srila Prabhupada, he left the boat, the ISKCON boat behind. He told, when we go to the spiritual world, we will create another ISKCON. An ISKCON without fault, without quarreling. So a perfect ISKCON in the service of Krishna. Of course, ISKCON on the broader sense means International Society for Krishna Consciousness. It is holistic. It includes everything that is in a relation with Krishna. Of course, Srila Prabhupada, he created an institution because Guru Maharaj, his Guru told him to create institution so that we can introduce Krishna consciousness in the Western countries where they all used to where everything is institutionalized. So institution is needed, but we should not think Krishna consciousness is only in the institution. Krishna consciousness is a universal thing. It's a transcendental thing. It's in everywhere, all over the universe, all over the different universes, and also in the spiritual world. So this is actually the complete Krishna consciousness movement. So we are not alone. We have a huge family of Krishna conscious association and devotees who are much more than materialists. Materialists are in minority. We think now we are in minority, but no, they are in minority. We are a majority. Because there are much more devotees in the spiritual world. 3/4 of the spiritual world is devotee. 1/4 in the material world is a materialist. But even in this material world, there are so many devotees. In the higher planets, the devotees. In this world, now we have so many devotees by Srila Prabhupada and by the followers of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Lord Chaitanya's associates. Krishna consciousness was spread first in India and Bengal and all over India, and then so in this way the dream of all the acharyas became fulfilled. The Krishna consciousness is spread also in the Western countries. Although it was not clear, was Lord Chaitanya's prediction the whole world or only Bengal? But Srila Prabhupada was convinced it was not only meant for Bengal, because Lord Chaitanya is Yuga avatar for this age, for the Kali Yuga. So he starts from Lord Chaitanya's appearance day on, the golden age started. For the next 10,000 years, that we will have a golden age. We are middle in it now, but there's something happening now, you know, that to make the golden age really happen. Therefore, now we really have to keep together. If you're many or only a few, and ultimately we have to understand we have a connection with the whole universe, with the whole spiritual world. We are all together. We're a big family of devotees, much bigger than whole Maya world together, all this materialistic propaganda together. And if we stick together and have this constellation, you know, with the spiritual transcendence in Krishna consciousness, then the real revolution will take place. It has already started. Now we can still be an instrument in it. If we are not doing it, it will go on anyway. The constellation will somehow or other will always come together again, because it's like magnetic attraction. You don't have to have the mind and the thinking process the mental capacity to think how we come together. It will happen. It's magnetic, transcendental arrangement. So we only have to put away our doubts a little, and our how we say enviousness, fault-finding mentality. And even if you have it, still you have it, this will go away. It will go away because as long as you stay in Krishna consciousness, all negativity will go away. We don't have to, we cannot do it ourselves. It will happen by the purification process. So Srila Prabhupada set the standard. He also set standard, you know, how to not just to preach, also to preach and to stay together and serve the Vaishnavas and keeping, I would say, this pretty lakshana, this favorable association and cultivation of affectionate love towards the devotees. But he also teaches us the process of Sharanagati, how to surrender through the process of hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna, to having sadhana in the temple or wherever you are, and worship the deities and pleasing the deities, and Shivikrahara, Dana Nityanana, Shringara Tanma, and Dhyanamarjanado. So that's all spiritual mass. Srila Prabhupada teaches us all this process of deity worship, of how to do Sankirtan, Mahaprabhu, Kirtan, and Rita Gita, Paditramadi, and Manasora Sena. So spiritual mass is very happy engaging in this Sankirtan movement. He also showed us by his example how to absorb in Radha Krishna, in Krishna Balaram, when he was in Vrindavan. He was sitting underneath the tamal tree there in the courtyard and sitting and always looking on Krishna Balaram, Radhashyam, Nittai Gauranga, with tears in eyes, and deep concentration, completely absorbed, you know, in prayerful mood, Sharanagati. Sharanagati, full surrender. I'm your servant. Do with me whatever you like. You can let me dance, or you can take me and engage me in whatever place you like to have me. That's surrender. That's Sharanagati. And always be meek and humble. And Srila Prabhupada also showed us. He gave us shelter in the temples, and especially also the temple in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram Mandir, and the Mayapur parikramas, and the Mayapur temple, and the beautiful deities there, Radha Madhava, who are now installed, by Prabhupada installed a small one, now big one, with Astasaki and Nisingadev as the protector of the Sankirtan movement. And the Panchatattva, and the big temple now also what will be built according to Srila Prabhupada's desire. But that's the place where the Sankirtan movement was born, where it was started by Gaur Nityananda and by their associates, the Panchatattva, and all the devotees. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, instructed his son, you know, to establish Navadvip Dham Parikrama, because the Navadvip is our pilgrimage place. It's also our home in one sense, because it's the home of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And Srila Prabhupada, he also decided that we have parikramas there. In the beginning, there was only with buses and every day in another place. But then the traditional parikrama in 9 days or 10 days before Gaur Purnima was organized every year. And Srila Prabhupada wanted to have big festivals in Mayapur so that devotees from all over the world come together and become inspired when they go back to become more fired up for spreading this Krishna consciousness movement. And Sri Vrindavan Dham is actually more a place for retirement, for bhajan, for absorption. But still, although this is the original meaning of Vrindavan, but now Vrindavan became also a place of distribution, of preaching. Because so many people come to Vrindavan Dham, pilgrims and from all over the world, and now Vrindavan Dham is not a village anymore. And it's also only by Srila Prabhupada's mercy. By Srila Prabhupada's endeavor. Practically almost all temples in Vrindavan, there was nothing going on much. But when Prabhupada came there and introduced Krishna consciousness, he brought life. Now the whole city doesn't only chant Radhe Radhe, they chant Hare Krishna. Previously in the Vrindavan, you only heard Radhe Radhe, but now is always also Hare Krishna, and Kirtan going on. Although in most of the temple, Kirtan is not heard, but now Kirtan becomes a very popular Hare Krishna mantra. This is actually the Yuga Dharma, to introduce this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that everyone chants. This is one mantra, Maha Mantra. So now Vrindavan is a great preaching place also. So many hundreds of thousands of books every year they distribute there. And also on Gita Jayanti and Prabhupada Marathon, so many books they distribute. So it's very nice. It becomes a very nice place also for preaching. Actually, Srila Prabhupada, he told that every place every place becomes favorable if we are convinced and enthusiastic to preach genuinely, seriously, in a humble mood, in devotional mood. The whole place can change. The whole world is actually favorable for Krishna consciousness. There's not even unfavorable become favorable by Lord Chaitanya's and by Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So he is the savior of the world. He's as one god brother of Srila Prabhupada appropriately called Prabhupada, because first Prabhupada, when he, on his bed, before he disappeared, many god brothers came to see him, and Prabhupada, in humble mood, he was always asking for forgiveness for all of his offenses. But he is, and he considered himself, I'm Mahapavana, I'm the most fallen. Please forgive me for my offenses. And then, of course, all the god brothers protested and told, no, there's no offense in you. You are our leader. Everyone accepted him as the leader. You are our glorious example. We all follow your example, because at that time no Gaudiya Vaishnava outside of Prabhupada could estimate and consider that this movement will go abroad of India to the West, and even all over the world. And even in India becomes so much popular now. Therefore, they all consider, they all realize that he is our leader. You're not Mahapavana, you are Mahapatita Pavana. One god brother told him. And the others all agreed, you are Mahapatita Pavana. Lord Chaitanya is the savior, is Patita Pavana, Gora Hari. He's the savior of the most fallen, but even he was discriminating. Krishna also told in the Bhagavad Gita, you know, those who are envious, those who are not have proper behavior, they should not hear Bhagavad Gita. This conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, because they will not understand. It should not be told to them. But Srila Prabhupada understood also Krishna's meaning, you know, where he says, whoever spreads this holy discussion between me and Arjuna to the world, to my devotee, he's very dear to me, and nobody will be more dear to me also in the future. Not only now, also in the future, nobody will be more dear. So Prabhupada is a Mahapatita Pavana because Lord Chaitanya, he also rejected sometimes somebody who was not acting properly. But Srila Prabhupada, he was always merciful, even when he chastised somebody. But he told, this is my duty. I have on one hand, I have an how we say, the club, you know, or how we say, to chastise the scientists and the Mayavadis. On the other hand, you know, I give them also the instruction directly, the mercy. But he doesn't kill. Lord Chaitanya also didn't kill. So he only gave mercy, the mercy of his instructions, of his great love and sympathy towards human mankind. Prabhupada loved the people. And therefore he came, you know, to save them, you know. He came for us, to save us. That this we should understand, you know. So and then if you understand what Prabhupada actually did, what he actually gave to us, you know, then we can only also surrender this life. That's he told. Only give me your life. This one life, give it to me, you know. It will be the last one. You will go back to Godhead. So many lifetimes we wasted, you know, but now one lifetime just give to Prabhupada's mission, Prabhupada's service and devotional service, chant Hare Krishna and the association of devotees and be happy. Okay, Hare Krishna. Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I will stop here. You all hear me actually?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. We hear you.
I just realized that we didn't have any translation. I just spoke.
Yes.
Okay, Niti. Is Niti here? Niti Laksha, any comment? Any question? Danudar?
I don't have a question. I'm just enjoying Kata.
Okay, good. Param, Radhe Radhe.
Yes, Maharaj. Yes.
All your fault because you started with it.
because of that, it was no translation.
No, it's good like that. Because Tahani, she wrote me, she has somebody who's interested in her flat, or I don't know, something, because she's in changing from another flat to another flat now soon, so that she excuses herself, she cannot translate. So anyway, I thought actually maybe a good opportunity now to speak finally one lecture only in English. Because it's better for me, because I can keep the flow. Yeah, good. And Granta, where's Granta here? Bhakti Granta also.
Yes, yes, I'm here, Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna.
Okay, you got any comments, any questions?
Yeah, maybe can I ask you, shall we read the verse you was planning for today?
Yeah, you can read it now, yes. In Serbski.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. Ok. Sad ćemo bakte da pročitamo stih koji je Rohinisuta Prabhu odabrao za danas. Samo jedan trenutak. 10. pevanje, drugo poglavlje, stih broj 31. 10, 2, 31. I stih kaže sljedeće. Should I read also the Sanskrit?
Which verse you speak now? The Bhagavatam?
Yes, yes. You gave us the verse for today.
Bhagavatam we can skip.
Ah, okay, okay.
It's already mentioned it now in the speech I gave. That what is written now, what you want to read, I already mentioned.
Ah, okay, okay.
Krishna is like the boat, and he left the boat behind with the acharyas, and acharyas they conquered the ocean of birth and death to Vaikuntha, and but they left the boat behind so that other future generation of devotees they can also take shelter in it.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then can I ask the question?
Okay.
Yes, I would like to ask Guru Maharaj if you can help us with your inspiring verse. We are now in the middle of making plans for Srila Prabhupada Marathon. Maybe we cannot go directly because of the situation, but we are thinking to send from Shastradhana to libraries, schools, yoga centers, and some institutions and like this. And we need your blessings and support and a few words of encouragement.
Yeah, I already gave. Don't want to repeat.
Okay.
If you heard what I told, then you should be encouraged. Otherwise, if you didn't understood what is the mission, then I can also not help you.
Yes.
Not stupid, not.
Hare Krishna, here is our
But I mean,
yes, yes.
Can I have a question?
Finally, somebody intelligent here who has a question.
I was thinking,
Not a stupid one, you know, like this morning, there were so many stupid questions, you know. Prabhupada always became very angry, you know, when somebody asked him, you know, can you tell me about your confidential inspiration with your guru, you know, how he inspired you?
I wanted to...
Very upset and very angry. You should never ask these questions to Srila Prabhupada.
In a Zoom meeting, no, you can't.
I was thinking that Raghunath Goswami was at Govardhan mostly, and then at his final days.
Why you have a mask with us?
Bhakti,
we are online.
Bhaktisiddhanta was also somehow or other meditating on Govardhan.
Okay, you're at the temple.
Can I continue?
Yeah, yeah.
So Raghunath Das Goswami was at Govardhan, and Bhaktisiddhanta at his final days, he was also thinking about Govardhan and hearing about Govardhan. And Prabhupada wanted to go around the Govardhan. You see some relationship. All these great souls liked so much Govardhan. If you like to elaborate and say something on this.
Yeah, I can actually, you know, and that time, Lokanath Goswami, he had this bullock cart, I would say, traveling, going on parikrama with bullock carts all over India and also in Vrindavan. And he thought this is a very good idea to take Prabhupada maybe around Govardhan. And you know, Srila Prabhupada, he was a very, I would say, if you're in this last stage of life, you know, you're always very enthusiastic, you know, and you very easily be inclined, you know, to say yes. If somebody is over enthusiastic, like Lokanath Goswami, he was very over enthusiastic to invite Srila Prabhupada to bring him on the bullock cart around Vrindavan. But there were many devotees like Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Bhakti Charu Swami and the others, you know, who were very close to Srila Prabhupada, his personal servants and caretakers. You know, they were very concerned, and they begged Srila Prabhupada not to go. Not to go, because he will not survive. It will, because Prabhupada was only bone and skin, you know, and his spirit there, you know. There was, but Prabhupada, but then Prabhupada immediately, when he heard that his devotees were crying and begged him not to go, he immediately thought, okay, I will not go. but then he thought, but I want to go to the West. And there nobody could stop it. Therefore he went to England. He came to England. I spoke this morning about it. How Prabhupada decided to go to England. So there nobody could stop him. So Srila Prabhupada, I would say, he was not so much on pilgrimage, because he himself was a pilgrimage place. And wherever he went, you know, he turned the pilgrimage place in a pilgrimage place. He purified even the pilgrimage places. So just to see and to be with Srila Prabhupada and to serve actually his instructions and his mission, you always live in the highest pilgrimage place. Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami and all these devotees in that time in Vrindavan, that was 500 years ago. There was no opportunity to go abroad. But they prepared. They knew it will happen. Therefore, they wrote books. They established this Vrindavan Dham, this building the temples and installing some deities and give education for the devotees, training the first generation of devotees for this expanding of Krishna consciousness movement. First in India, they went to Bengal and to Orissa and to Assam and I don't know in which place, everywhere there to preach to these people there. But then the real how we say revolution started from Bhaktivinoda Thakur time. He was a pioneer, you know. He started to make first contact with Western universities and sending his books there, and he prepared his son Bimala Prasad, that means Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, for this mission, and then Srila Prabhupada captured the fire from his Guru Maharaj, and so he practically fulfilled the desire and the dream of all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Acharyas. As I mentioned this morning, he was in New York and he was thinking about Vrindavan. So I feel very lonely here. Actually, my home is Vrindavan, but I'm duty bound. One lady in the yoga studio told him, I understand, but then why you came? Why you didn't remain in Vrindavan? So Prabhupada told, I'm duty bound. It's not in my choice. The disciple has not a choice, he's surrendered. Cannot think, you know, if Guru tells you something, should I do it or should I not do it? can I do it or can I not do it? Understand? It's very important. Avadut.
Is there any instruction the disciple can not accept from the guru?
Yeah, see, the Prabhupada says one thing you cannot accept from Guru if he tells you you should marry.
Jai.
This you can reject. But if you're a surrendered disciple, he also will do that. But it's not an offense if you will not do it. Because we have examples of devotees who didn't follow this instruction of Guru to marry. And it started already in the beginning of creation, and now with the 4 Kumaras. But otherwise, you should follow the Guru's instruction.
I was wondering, Prabhupada once said that he gave a lot of punya to the disciples who became disciples. No? You didn't create any punya that you would become devotee, but I gave everything to you. So
the disciples, they told, oh, Prabhupada, where is our punya? Where is our pious activities? We don't remember. So Prabhupada, I made it for you.
Yes. In connection with that, I was wondering if maybe this is a little bit, I don't know, should I ask? But I was wondering if the present spiritual masters, after Prabhupada, also give this kind of punya to their disciples.
You know, we're a disciplic succession.
How should I understand?
So that means you're saved if you connect with your Guru and with Srila Prabhupada, then you're saved, and you're connected with whole Guru Parampara, with the rope, you know, who will bring you back home, back to Godhead. You automatically become punya.
Yes.
If you have this doubt about your Guru Maharaj, you know, you're a very critical situation.
No, I don't have, but I'm.
Because the disciple should not doubt the moment, you know, about the position of your Guru. Even if he is not in the position of Srila Prabhupada, but he's connected with Prabhupada, so in this way he's connected with the Parampara. And as long as he teaches you according to this Parampara, you're saved. Your life will become perfect. So that's your only duty. You should try to follow. Don't analyze your Guru and the Parampara.
So I made an offense. Okay, thank you.
No, hopefully not.
Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, sometimes we are a little too easy, a little too much over-intelligent, and think I already also know already a lot. So maybe I know so much as my Guru and even more. Then you're in critical position. You always should understand I'm full. I'm an insignificant servant, and without the mercy of my Guru, I'm nothing. Whatever I know from him and by his mercy. Should not even consider your Svarup and your liberation, the spiritual, what you will be there. No, just serve your Guru, and then everything will come.
Did you read this from Vishwanath? He exactly said this.
Yeah, it's
He exactly said the same thing what you said.
I told you already, don't tell Vishwanath, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
Yeah, sorry.
You're not, he's not your schoolmate. Jiva told. Vishwanath told, Sanatan told, Rupa told. So what is that?
Excuse me.
So don't take it easy. Have a little etiquette and respect before these acharyas. Yes, this is his commentary to Vyavasya Atmika Buddhir Eke Hakuranandana. Prabhupada quotes, and Vishwanath Chakravarti, he made this commentary about that. It's more important for a disciple to think about how to serve the spiritual master than to think about his own position and liberation, or if he goes to heaven or hell or whatever. You don't have to think about, or if you feel good or not so good. Or if you feel possible or not possible. It's, everything becomes possible. You can see in Srila Prabhupada's faith and his surrender and endeavor. So Krishna made it possible because he sees a pure devotee, he endeavors, and he has a great desire to please Krishna and his predecessors. Therefore, Krishna is practically indebted to give you. That's the only way how you can actually conquer and invoke Krishna to interfere himself and use and give you so much opportunity and protection and inspiration, and always the right words according to time, place, and circumstances. That's Acharya. He knows according to preach how to, according to place, time, and circumstances. Oh, so.
I would just mention one thing, that question about Govardhan. At that time, I heard this from one of your god sisters. It was not mentioned on the video who was that, Mataji.
Mm.
She said that one of the god brother of Prabhupada was there, and although he could not go, he didn't want at the end to go around the Govardhan because of the affection of his disciples. Still, that god brother chanted one very nice song in which all the places around the Govardhan was mentioned. It is from Bhaktivinoda Thakur song, and he was so happy. He was around Govardhan within his mind. So anyway, I just...
I don't know this song. I only know there's one song from Sharanagati. It is Radha Kunda Tata. Radha Kunda Tata Kunja Bihari. I sing sometimes in the morning. Very nice song. It's from Sharanagati. Maybe it's this one.
Could be.
Let's see. It's a meditation of Srila Bhaktivinoda. Radha Kunda Tata Kunja Kutira Govardhana Parvata Yamuna Tira Kusum Sarovara Manasa Ganga Kalinda Nandini Vipula Taranga Vamshivata Gokula Tira Samira Vrindavana Taru Latika Vanira Kakamrika Kula Malaya Patasa Mayura Brahmara Murali Vilasa Venu Shingapada China Megamala Vasanta Shankha Shankha Karatala Yukala Vilase Anukula Chani Lila Vilase Udipakamani Esabacho Dato Kaninahi Chao Esabacho Dato Paranahara Bhakati Vinoda Koheshu no Kana Tuba Udipaka Amara Parana. That's this song maybe, huh?
Could be.
Because it's all, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he remembers all the holy places in Vrindavan, what inspires him for favorable devotional service to Radha Krishna. Okay, can stop.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Organizer, Bhakti Granta.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
So we can stop.
Yes, we can stop.
Okay.
I can maybe
Hare
put
Krishna.
yeah.
Huh?
I can just maybe put Srila Prabhupada Murti on full screen that all the devotees can get
Oh,
darshan.
we have him already in full screen.
Ah, you have it. Okay.
Yeah, we have it here.
Aha. Okay.
Okay, you made puja today, everything?
I made it morning as usual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Oysa Prabhupada.
Jai.
Nanda,
Jai.
Thakurji, Hari Bolo.
Hey, Guru Maharaj. Jai. Great to see you.
Thank you, Haribol.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, everybody. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Wonderful.
Hey, good.
Marathon. Guru Maharaj, marathon.
Ah, Marathon ki chai.
Jai.
His Holiness Shri Rohinisuta Prabhu ki.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Kume.
Kume.
Kumovi.